A ship on the horizon. What an iconic opening. And it was my first entry into the Monster Hunter series, with Monster Hunter Tri being the game portrayed. And the only reason I'm really going to talk about it today is because I've recently replayed Monster Hunter World, at least the base game, because we're still working on the DLC, with a friend of mine. And during that playthrough, I had, music playing, because, I've already done most of the story, so really, it's whatever to me, right? But a certain music played that just made me feel a certain way. It was the finishing song of Monster Hunter Tri. Right now you're hearing, the Muga Village song, which is just a nice relaxing tune to play while you're just chilling in the village. Very nice. Also, the cutscene you're seeing in the background is actually from Monster Hunter Tri. It's the intro cutscene to the village, and it's pretty dated. This is a game from 2009, like I said. But that may be why I want to dive into today. It's been a game that's been on my mind off and on throughout the years. I've spent nearly 1,500 hours in this game alone. It was probably my most played game throughout my childhood. And I haven't touched it in literal years. Maybe even at this point, a decade. And it is sad to me because this game has so much to offer. One of these things being probably my favorite monster in the entire series. And as the cutscene finishes, you're left with an impression of a gigantic Elder Dragon, which you now have to go kill. And as you just take a leap into the water, the most amazing theme just hits your ears. And as you look upon just the pure size difference between you, the hunter, who up until now has fought gigantic creatures, you realize they were nothing in comparison. Sadly, due to how time works, the game has been kind of dated here and there. You can see it mostly in the underwater combat being kind of clunky to look at. Like, Ceadeus, or at least, that's what I call him. I know there's, different words that you can use for him. Ceadeus, in my opinion, is probably one of the fights that has been affected badly by it, because most of his moves just are very telegraphed and you know exactly what he's doing. Then again, he is technically just a low rank Elder Dragon. And how it is split up is that low rank, high rank, and master rank each have their own horrible nightmares to go through. Anyway, the fight itself is just you fighting him up until a certain point when you get to certain check marks, like breaking his beard, going from zone 1 to 2, and from 2 to 3. However, in zone 3, something happens. up until this point, you fought plenty of creatures underwater, having enough time to really learn how to fight in the water. But this fight throws you through a loop since there's no land at all. You never step on any ground. And there's even a Dragonator underwater, which just makes this fight crazy to play. The first time when you first engage the creature here, you notice that it has these wonderful, beautiful bioluminescent spots on the belly, and as he enrages, they turn red, which is just such a striking visual. Now, Ceadeus doesn't get killed here in this quest, except if you somehow have, you know, high rank gear or something from doing the online hub, which we'll get to later, because that's where our next creature is anyway. Now, you're not going to kill Ceadeus here. Ceadeus does not get killed on this quest. Simply, it is a repel quest, so you break off his horn, like you see in the footage, and that being the main reason for his discomfort, where he's ramming his horn into the walls of the cavern, creating massive earthquakes for the people above. And that was the whole reason why you're here. You're not here to kill it. You're here to just solve the problem. The main reason why a hunter, you, came to Muga Village, to solve the problem. Now, the same thing could not be said for the next creature, but I just want to show you the end cutscene that you get when fully having beat Ceadeus. These were the last minutes of the online hub in Monster Hunter Tri called Loklak. Loklak was a amazing online hub for just general hunting and grouping of other people, getting to meet wonderful personalities over the time. However, they shut it down on April 30th, 2013. So a whole 3 years after the European and American release of the game. However, with this shutdown came a problem. The high rank portion of the game was completely locked behind the online hub, meaning when you were playing offline, you weren't able to access Alatreon and other things. And talking about Alatreon, he will be our next stop. So, in the background here, you see Team Omega Evolution fight Alatreon, since I don't have any access to Monster Hunter Tri anymore, sadly. However, something to note about this, Alatreon has come back now. He is in Monster Hunter World, and is probably one, if not the best visual fight, for me at least, in the entire series at the moment, since I haven't played Rise yet, so it might still change. We'll see. I might make another video after I played Rise. Anyway, I'm gonna go to the Monster Hunter World footage in a second, but just the basic of Alatreon is that he's an elementally unstable dragon, meaning he has every element at his disposal. He can freeze, he can burn, he can put dragon blight on you. Just everything you could imagine comes from him. And his fight, at least in World, portrayed that correctly. In the old game, he still does every element, and some I would say are even better actually in the old one than they are in the new one. But to think about that, we might need to head to World here. Now, Alatreon in Monster Hunter World is very different from his first incarnation in Monster Hunter Tri. Here he has so much range. He has every bit of elemental explosions and everything, and his elements even combine in certain cases where, for instance, his ice spikes, if they're hit by thunder, just explode for some reason. And it's just such a wonderful and visually striking fight, with the cutscene even hinting at him being stronger than even Safi Jiva, which up until this point was probably the hardest thing the hunter has fought, or in this case the Sapphire Star, as they're kind of referred to in the story. Now, Alatreon isn't the last fight in Monster World that you will probably do, and probably won't be the hardest for you, even when you beat him. For after this, there would be Fatalis, a monster that I fought for the first time in Monster Hunter World. I didn't go back and play the old games until I finished Monster Hunter World forever ago. And now at maybe, you know, what was it, like 1,400 hours into Monster Hunter World Iceborne, and me just hunting down whatever rare epidemic life I want, it's become more of a, you know, just way to relax when I fight him. Alatreon in the old game represented a immense obstacle for me. He was the creature that when I first saw him, it was just, yeah, I'm not winning, and I won't for a while. And I had the same feeling with Alatreon in the New World. He just beat me down for at least a week straight. And once I learned to fight, once I got good, as some would say, it was probably my most enjoyable, and still is, most fought fight in the game. I haven't done as many tries on Fatalis as I have on Alatreon, because Alatreon is just a creature that was the end of my gen, my Monster Hunter try. That's the fight that I probably did the last time I was online on it. And sadly, with the servers having shut down, I will not be able to return. That is, until not too long ago, like I think a year ago, where the amazing community has, in fact, found a way to make an online hub reachable again. Though I will probably not return to it, since it would either require me jailbreaking my Wii, which I still have, with the copy of Monster Hunter Tri, or using an emulator, and that just wouldn't be the same feeling for me as I played the game forever ago. And now, with me having played Monster Hunter World so much, I think it would ruin the experience I had back then, and kind of lessen the importance of the memories I've made back then and the people I've met. Since back then I've met someone who probably had a cheated weapon, but they were just making the game very accessible for me, who at the time was pretty bad at the game. Having just freshly beaten the base game of Monster Hunter Tri, I jumped into the online expecting to just crush it, absolutely demolish it, after I've just beaten Ceadeus, probably the craziest creature up until that point for me. And then I got myself handed to over and over by Devil Joe, which we also have in the New World, albeit he's kind of not really the Devil Joe that I knew, because while being aggressive in the old games, he has become a whole other thing in the new ones. Basically completely hurling himself at you in the Savage form at least. And it is just, yeah, I don't think I can return to any older game anymore, just because the way that Monster Hunter World has treated me to such wonderful gimmicks and other nonsense. Yeah, I'm looking at you, Clutch Claw. Probably the worst addition Monster Hunter could have added, but you know, it is there now. We can't change it, and here and there, it offers some pretty fun moments. And you know, I wonder how Monster Hunter Wilds is going to be. being as it looks to follow World's formula a bit more, with the graphics being enhanced and the combat feeling probably, from what we've seen, that one trailer, I'd say the combat might look a little bit more like World with the oomph to everything, unlike Rise where it's just basically an arcade beat 'em up. Not that I'm judging Rise players too much. I know that, you know, you can like the game, it's completely fine. It's just personally, it doesn't really look like my cup of tea. But yeah, that probably would be it for this video, as the only thing I could really say about Alatreon and Ceadeus for that matter, which I hope might still make an appearance at some point again, is that I hope that they can make reappearances in most games. They've been wonderful experiences. Alatreon almost divided the community, as the PC community, you know, being a little bit yeah, too tired of getting good, I guess, probably, decided to review bomb Monster of the World way back when he first released. Then I think they've calmed down, but you never know. I'm surprised they didn't do it for Fatalis, which I thought was the harder fight, but yeah, oh well. Anyway, I'll leave you off with this hunter, and yeah, hope you get all the red drops you want. The desire sense is real, by the way. Enjoy.